My name is Isabella Montgomery. I'm 36 years old, though most people tell me I look far younger. Maybe it's my mother's flawless genes, or perhaps it's the way life has molded me into someone who carries herself with grace. Whatever the reason, appearances aside, what truly shaped me was the weight of legacy. If you are new, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Also, let us know where you are watching from. I was born to the Montgomery family, a name that, in Boston, held clout. My grandmother, Eleanor Montgomery, was a legend in property. She forged an empire of grand hotels and mansions, turning the family name into a dynasty. Folks used to say she was steel wrapped in velvet. When she died, she left me not only her empire, but also a fragment of wisdom that served as my guide in life. Isabella, they will love you because of your name, because of your wealth, because of your looks, but few will love you for what you are. Learn to tell the difference. Something that my husband never knew was this. In her will, my grandmother bequeathed me a $100 million fortune. It was invested in trusts, investments, and real estate, concealed in plain sight, guarded by the legacy of Montgomery. By the time I was 30, I had everything material a human could desire: penthouses, designer outfits, plush cars. But deep within myself, I yearned for something else, something genuine. I craved love, camaraderie, and a mate who viewed me as a woman and not as a walking fortune. That is where Ethan Carter stepped into my world. We had a September evening meeting at a rooftop party in Manhattan. The city skyline shone like a jewel box, and the sultry night was filled with laughter and music. I leaned against the railing, champagne in hand, lost in my thoughts, when a deep voice interrupted me. "Do you always look this serious at parties?" I spun around, and there he was. Ethan, tall, broad shoulders, eyes that watched me in a way most men never attempted. He was a man with an air of easy confidence, the type who appeared as if he were exactly where he was meant to be. His suit was spotlessly fitted, his cologne promised cedar and spice, and his smile, it took me down in an instant. We talked all night. Unlike everyone else, he did not inquire about my family history, my finances, or my surname. He inquired about my aspirations, the books I cherished, and the destinations I wished to visit. For the first time in years, I felt noticed. That evening, the city dissipated, and all that was visible was him. Our romance sped ahead. Weekend getaways to the Hamptons, candlelit evenings, surprise bouquets sitting on my office desk. He knew how to sweep a woman off her feet, and I, over my grandmother's voice of caution ringing in my head, fell head over heels. 6 months after that, he asked me to marry him while it snowed outside in Aspen. Snowflakes whirled around the window pane, the fireplaces crackled, and he knelt in front of me holding a ring that gleamed so magnificently it seemed to capture the firelight of the fireplace. I accepted immediately. But this is not a fairy tale. 3 weeks into our engagement, Ethan took me out to our go, the wine bar. His voice was nonchalant, but his words cut through me like a frigid wind. "Isabella, I believe it would be for the best if we signed a prenuptial agreement." I bristled. "A prenup," I said, trying to laugh. "Ethan, you know I don't care about money. I don't want anything from you." He leaned back in his chair, stirring the wine in his glass. "It's not personal. I've worked hard for everything I have, and I have to protect it. It's nothing personal. It's just good business, good business." The words rang in my head, colder than the winter breeze outside. He had no idea about my inheritance. He believed I was just an average woman with an average income. To him, this prenup was a safeguard. To me, it was a betrayal. However, I signed on. The paper was straightforward. We'd both depart the marriage with what we entered with. No alimony payments, no divisions of each other's assets. He beamed with relief, convinced he had protected himself. What he hadn't understood was that he had essentially locked himself out of the very wealth that one day he might hunger for. Initially, our married life was as sparkling as our courtship. We occupied a townhouse in Chelsea, threw fabulous dinner parties, took European vacations, and posted on social media laughter-filled pictures and lovey-dovey moments. We were perfect to the world, but behind the closed doors the cracks started. Ethan drifted away. He worked late, vanished on weekends with nebulous excuses, and carried a faint scent of perfume I did not use. He no longer held my hand at night. We stopped laughing. I passed by his study one evening, and I overheard him on the phone. His voice was husky, but the words sent shivers down my spine. "Don't worry. After it's all over, she won't see a penny. The prenup holds me harmless." My stomach dropped. He wasn't just remote. He was scheming. By our third anniversary, Ethan was a stranger. One day, he pushed divorce papers across the table as if he was handing me the salt. His eyes were cold, his voice detached. "It's over, Isabella. Let's not make it messy." I glared at him, shaking in my hands. He expected me to beg, cry, struggle, but all I did was nod. Fine. The divorce came quickly. Due to the prenup, we got out of the marriage what we had entered it with. Ethan sneered, thinking I had nothing but the pay from my job as a creative director. Oh, how mistaken he was. 2 months later, destiny threw us together in a cafe in Manhattan. I entered, wearing my grandmother's Cartier watch, a token of the empire I'd been left with. He appeared tired, his previously flawless suit creased, his eyes bearing traces of sleepless nights. He halted when he laid eyes on me. His lips opened, but nothing emerged. That's when I leaned forward and spoke in a whisper. "You assumed I had nothing, but I have $100 million, and because of that prenup, you'll never see a single dollar." The color left his face. Weeks passed, and I heard that he had been cheated by a younger woman he was attempting to impress. She emptied his accounts and left him shattered, just as he had intended to do to me. Karma had finally gotten its payback. While I prospered, I started a charity foundation in my grandmother's name, traveled the globe, and bought a penthouse with a view over Central Park. I was free, powerful, and above reproach. Ethan used to think a prenup would save him. He never even knew it was my protection, my armor, my quiet revenge. And sometimes the best revenge isn't ruining someone. It's living so beautifully that they have to watch you shine in the shadows.